What's up, guys? It's fucking Wednesday. And it's 6/9. Giggity. So, I hope we have a great fucking hump day. You know what? The irony. Well, no, it's not irony. I know, maybe it is. I don't know. But 6/9 on hump day? Fuck yeah. You better be fucking tonight. That's all I gotta say. Cue that fucking music.
We really should stop this fighting. Otherwise, we'll miss the fireworks.
There won't be any fireworks.
And here we go.
And welcome everybody to Suck It. I am the great and powerful King of Kings, Prince of all that is awesome, Derek. How the fuck are you doing today? Again, on this June 9th, 6/9 hump day. I hope you're enjoying your week, halfway through the week. A great day to be celebrating hump day. That's all I gotta say. Thank you guys so much for being here. 10 million downloads strong, 35 countries. Y'all fucking rock. I appreciate y'all. Let's continue doing what we do best. Talking music, talking life, talking advocacy, talking mental health, all the good stuff that we do here on this lovely fucking show I call Suck It. Because today, I have an interesting show. Because not only is the gentleman that I have with me today a rap artist, a musical artist signed to Hood Associates, which is bringing you the episode today. Thanks, Ditch and crew over there. This gentleman's also nominated for a Binge TV Award for Best Podcast, which is funny to me because I'm up for that same award. So I'm interviewing my own competition. That's fun to me. So let's just quit fucking around and let's introduce my competition and artist, Mr. Kren.
What's going on, brother? How's everything, man?
You know what? It's going well. It's going well. How about yourself?
Not bad, not bad. It's kind of hot out here today in Florida. The heat has just been rising and rising and rising, getting more brutal. It's hard to stay cool.
Yeah. Yes, it is. I mean, even up here in Virginia, man, it's the same way. It's blistering, man. It's like 95, 96 most days, and it's been bad. I mean, just bad. So I can only imagine what it's like in Florida. I mean, I moved away from there 5.5 years ago, and I'm not looking back. I haven't been back in like 3 years. Fuck that place.
You're not missing anything but a lot of heat.
No, and that was one of the main reasons why I left. I mean, I was originally born in Ohio, and my parents dragged me there when I was 7, and I thought, oh, this is going to be great. Then that first summer, I was like, no. And I was trying to leave ever since that point. And I finally got out 5.5 years ago, and I'm so glad I did.
Nice.
Yeah, man. Where I live at now, I'm so happy to be in the mountains where I get snow every year, and it's actually have seasons. So
actually get to see some different change of climate.
Hell yeah. I mean, it's nothing like driving through my neighborhood at the end of September, beginning of October, and seeing those leaves start to change color and walk outside and say, ooh, it's a bit nippy, in October. But, versus, Christmas Day in Florida where you have to wake up to 95-degree weather. Like, this is not fucking Christmas. This is hell. And
I know what you mean. I grew up in New York City, raised in Brooklyn, grew up in Queens. And over there, we got to see the season. So with the leaves falling, everything, different change of climates, I miss that. Over here, it's just one season all year round.
Yeah, it sucks. It is just no. Actually, it's 2 seasons. Hot and hotter. I mean,
That's a fact.
that is a fact.
But
And
yeah, so I get into a little about myself and what we do and my business partner here. CEO of Triple Entertainment Group Production. We formally signed a distribution deal with Tiffany Gaines. Shout out to Tiffany Gaines. Thanks to Ditch from Hood and Associates connecting us and networking us properly. And because of Ditch, now we're able to release our artists' music and put them on all platforms the proper way so they can gain their money the proper way and get them into the spotlight that they were once looking for. With that, the company, we have our music department, we have the radio shows, we have our creative department, we also do website design, logo, graphics, things like that. So we're a one-stop shop when it comes to what we do over here in our area. My executive producer Eclipse, he's over in Orlando, and this man is a beast when it comes to fine-tuning your vocals, making sure the sound is right, creating beats. Like that's why he's my executive producer, because he has that ear, that gift of gab to make sure that the sound is exact what needs to be put out.
so you sound exactly like everything that I do, except for the music part. I don't produce music, so basically you're just ripping off my whole fucking stack, dude. Damn, what the hell, man? Graphic design, logos, that's all things I do.
we got when I looked at it like this, when I started the company, it just started out as the basic recording studio for artists to come through to record their music and help them get to the next level, whether it was just bettering themselves as an artist or developing themselves as an artist, like structurizing their lyrics or the way that they think, separating their personal from their business, so they can understand that even though you're going through something hard in your life, you could actually step away from that and use the music as an escape, as a different format to let out your emotions. It's an outlet for you to utilize. So I try to structurize them and utilize the music as their outlet to express their feelings, so they don't feel that personal emotion no more. So try to help everyone.
Dude, I commend you on that, because actually that is the exact premise of my show. For us to step away from the music for a moment, when I talk to bands, because I've talked to hundreds of bands on my show, hundreds of artists on my show, because that's what I do. It's music through mental health, and combining the two, that is what my show is about. So when we talk, on my show, yeah, we're going to talk about the music for a few minutes. Obviously you're on my show to promote an album or promote a new single or EP or whatever. But then after the first 5 or 10 minutes of talking about that, we're talking about who you are, to get away from that and, express yourself in that way. Because, yeah, you're going to have 10, 15, 20, 30 other interviews talking about the music constantly, because that's what they do. I don't like to do that, and I love that you have that same philosophy in the producing side of it, because that's really the way to go with it, especially when, because these artists deal with the same shit that the average person driving to work every day, having their 9 to 5 has, on the way driving back. I had my suicide attempt inside of a car driving home from buying my wife's birthday present. And if it wasn't for music, I would have driven off a cliff. It's these types of things that people deal with, and having the artist being able to express that through music or, whatever, really helps connect the artist with the fans on a different level. And I really appreciate you going through that.
Thank you. I just I try to give the artists that I sign to the label, or anyone that I help in general, whether it be producers, affiliates, whoever it is that I'm helping, I just try to remind them that whatever it is that you're doing, you have to try to take your personal feelings and what you're going through out of it, because that's what's going to limit you and stop you from actually moving forward and making a change for yourself that's going to get you out of those feelings or those emotions that you're going. So as an artist growing up, I didn't have anyone pointing me in that direction or telling me what not to do or what to avoid. So me having all that knowledge and going and falling on my face multiple times as an artist. I'm 31 years old today. I've been singing, doing music since I was 10 years old. You get me? It's been a long road. You know, I got my executive producer who's been doing music for many years as well. We just submitted his song to be released, which is what we're going to be talking about as well. Long time coming, which is pretty much, it sums it all up. It's been a long time coming. He's been working hard, being a producer, an artist. He started as an artist, and then he said, you know what, let me just focus on producing, and that's where the money was coming from.
That's where I spend most of my time, doing the producing. Then I caught writer's block like most artists do. And I just focused on the producing aspect of it, and then really liked, I guess people would say, when it comes to engineering and stuff like that, we got nerdy on them. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I got into the production aspect of it, the plugins and the EQing and all that, and I enjoyed it more. To be honest with you, I enjoyed it more than rapping and waiting for time. And when is this going to happen? I need to write this next song, and I got this idea. And so basically, I started producing for myself, got stuck in the production, and did that for 8 years. And then I connected with this guy, and things have just been moving and moving and moving, and the creation has just been coming back out. I started writing again, and now I'm releasing a song on the 17th.
That's awesome. You know, because I'm 40, and, you know, I've been doing the podcast thing for a little over, you know, a year and a half. You know, before that, you know, I was a professional wrestler. Before that, I was a, you know, musician as well. You know, I traveled the country doing music. I was a guitarist for a couple of touring bands, a touring guitarist for a couple of bands, excuse me. As a, you know, doing as a replacement of fill-in. And, you know, I've been in entertainment for 18, you know, almost 22 years, since I was 18 years old. And it's a lifelong battle. You know, now I'm a comedian, I do this. And, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, you just can't give up. You can't find out. You don't really know who you are until you've fallen and broken yourself, you know. And that's exactly what happened with me. I had a pretty good damn, you know, pro wrestling career under my belt, and then in 2013 I broke my neck in a car accident, and I didn't have any other choice but to give it up. I mean, it was taken away from me, and that's when I decided to pursue comedy. And, you know, it's been like, wow, this is what I was meant to do. You know, I've always been, you know, one of those goofy, you know, try to fuck around type persons where, you know, you're always trying to get somebody to laugh and you're trying to entertain them constantly. That's who I am. And, you know, now I'm 40 and I'm still, you know, trying to break through and still trying to make that mark, but I'm not giving up. Every failure, you know, every 5 failures, you have 1 success. I mean, every 20 failures, you have 1 success, you know, and you can't mark it by that. You got to continue to just count the fucking successes, as minor as they are. You know, you got to find them, and that's really cool that you live by that same philosophy.
I mean, you know, it's been a long road. You know, everybody has different paths, live a different lifestyle, you know, or uprut differently. So, you know, not every person is the same. Not every artist is the same. So everybody has their own, you know, mentality or way of being. So it's me being an artist. It got to the point where I got tired of being an artist. I'll be honest. I got tired of singing. I got tired of writing because it was like, I didn't have anybody supporting and pushing me out there. I only had my mother buying me the equipment here, start something, try something, you know, do something with it. And then when I actually started doing something with it, all you do is focus on your damn music. All you do is that. It's not, you know, get a real job, you know, focus on something that's going to do something for your life. So that started confusing me a bit. So I had to take a pause from music in general, because now my personal life was involving itself into my music. And I was like, yo, how is it that the same person that was telling me to go for it is the same person that's telling me to find a job or do something up? So I grew up, I left the house, I got married at a young age. Long story short, I was doing my music heavy. I started my label in 2007. And, it was just an idea at that point, learning all the legalities, learning the business aspect of what it is to run a record label or a production company in general. And I started going through it and learning and doing seminars. And at that time, I lived in New York, so a lot of things were more accessible. So I was going to a lot of different places and sitting down and learning from a lot of, as we call them, G's in the game, that they knew what they were talking about. They knew what it was to be in the music. And I learned a lot from them. I'll never forget when I sat down in East New York and over there at Massacre Music Studios, right next door to where I was living with my father at the time. And it was Pat Poose, his producer, E-Dubs, and everybody that was in there, and my uncle. My uncle, which is, well, I call him my uncle, is my father's best friend. He owns the building there, and they had the studio in their basement. So he called me over. He goes, "Come through. I know you do music. Let's sit down." I'll never forget that Pat Poose heard me harmonizing in the back, and he told me, "Yo, stop what we're doing right here and put a track on for this youngin' right now. I want to hear him in the booth." So between his producer, E-Dub, Massacre, Pat, they all like guided me at that moment. And that's what like brightened me to be like, yo, if I can do what they just did for me and be that person for someone in the future and do that and build that up in my own company, I'll be bigger as a CEO than I would be as an artist. Because I'll be the person, I'll never forget, I have a friend of mine, may he rest in peace, his name was Ray. And he once told me when I was just a general manager at 7-Eleven, and he told me, "What's greater, a king or the king bearer?" And then I said, "The king." He goes, "No, it's the king bearer, because the king bearer is the one who's teaching all the kings and the predecessors to come. He's the one that has all the knowledge. He's the one that is the actual king. If the king were to be removed from the place and place him in place, that'll be the true rulership, because he knows everything that needs to be done." So I've instilled that into what I do, and I keep pushing forward. And even though we go through obstacles and hurdles, and every day it's a roller coaster of learning new processes, dealing with new emotions, or trying to figure out a song, or working on the beats, or back when we first started, we had purchased beats for our artists that were, leased out beats. So now that we're doing things the legal way, we want to make sure all these beats are purchased out properly with the exclusive rights or the proper rights, where the producer's not gaining all the majority of the royalties coming in from those songs. Because when you look at the contracts, majority of the contracts that we got back were saying that the producer's getting majority of the royalties back. So it's like, what is the artist really gaining from that song? Just clout? Because the producer's pretty much gaining majority of the royalties in those contracts.
Yeah. And I want to touch on two things you just talked about. Number one, the whole support system, buying you things and making sure that, they're there for you. And then when you start pursuing it, they said, what the fuck's wrong with you? Yeah. My wife did that to me last year. So I feel you.
It never stops. It never stops.
No.
It starts from mom and then it goes to the wife.
No, because that's the thing. So like my wife actually left me because of what I do. And because I wanted to do nothing but pursue entertainment. And her, parting words to me was, "You want to be funny, you want to be entertaining, you want to be famous. I don't want to be a part of that life." And, left because of it. Aside from other things too, but that was the main reason. That was the main reason, because I wanted to do this, and this is what I was pursuing, and everything was about this. And so I feel you on that level, man. It's tough. But as far as what you just mentioned, as far as like, contracts and producing and, the artists, getting screwed over and stuff like that, that is the biggest problem right now in music. Even 50 years ago, that was the biggest problem in music. It was all about what the label wanted, what the producer wanted, what the mixer wanted, what the this and that and all this other crap wanted. I remember, and this is a true story from it. If you've ever seen the movie Bohemian Rhapsody, there's a scene where they're talking about, the song Bohemian Rhapsody, and the record producer's like, nobody's gonna want to listen to a 12-minute song on the radio. You know, why is a rock band having opera music and or an orchestra and all this other crap? And it became their, you know, and they literally walked out of the office and said, "Fuck you, we'll find somebody else that will do this," and it became their biggest song. You know, it's that kind of shit has been happening in the music business forever. You know, I mean, the thing about it is, even now, and one of my biggest problems with the pop industry, the rap industry, the hip hop industry, you know, R&B, all that kind of stuff outside of, you know, the majority of what happens on like the rock side of things, you've got 50 fucking people to make your one song sound good. In some cases.
Yeah.
Not all, but in most cases, you've got 50 people there to just make you look good. And then you get all the recognition, but they take all the money. But in all reality, you've also lost who you are, because now everything that they've done was to make you look good, but it was their own vision, it wasn't yours.
Correct.
And you can hear that a lot in a lot of different things. And then you get rebellion, and then you've got all this different stuff happening. And then once you start to see that rebellion side coming out, you're like, oh, wait a second. All this crap from before wasn't really who this person was. It was just overproduced crap. I mean, take a look at Miley Cyrus, for example. For years and years and years and years and years, she's been overproduced. And then over the last couple of years, she's kind of started having this change, and she had her Vegas show where she's flashing her cooch all over stage, and you know, really trying to, now all of a sudden she's morphing into the punk rock scene and doing more, you know, punk rock, and she's even doing a Metallica covers album. Now you're starting to see who this real person of Miley is, which is awesome. You know, Pink had the kind of the opposite effect. You know, Pink started off as a rebel, and now she's become just another cog in the machine. Because, and I watched part of her documentary on Amazon Prime, and I got pissed off and just was like, you know, I can't do this. You know, her talking about wanting to be a rock star. Sorry, bitch, you're not a rock star. You know, it's you. I'm, for every Pink fan out there, I'm sorry.
You're absolutely right.
You know, because I take that word very, very seriously. If you want to be a rock star, play rock. If you want to be a rap star, be a rapper. You can't be a rock star playing pop. You know, the only person that has that right to say that was Michael Jackson and Prince. Those are the only two people that can say they were rock stars, and they do both. So if you're not them, don't say it. But, you know, if you want to be a pop star, be pop. That's, you know, and for somebody like that who's so overproduced now, just to be another cog in the machine of music, you know, that kind of really bothers me. So when you have an artist that goes in there and does what they want to do, and you do everything you possibly can to help them be themselves, that's the sign of a true producer, a true, you know, everything, because you're letting them be them. And that's one of the reasons why I love rock music so much. If you have a 4-piece band, all you really have during a recording session is a 6-piece band. You've got the producer and the mixer, and that's it, because everything else is the rock band. And that's when, you know, and that's when it really kind of comes to, you know, fruition. So if you can find, if you're a rapper or if you're a pop artist or whatever you are, you can find somebody like, you know, these two that is going to be there to help you be you, do it.
Appreciate that. Thank you. You know, and you know, we have other artists on the label that have recently released their songs. Our first release of the year this year was by our Spanish duo, Nino BR and FIFA Nation, and they came out with a song. It's called Como Lo Hace, How You Do It, and that song has reached, I believe it was 20,100 streams on Spotify alone. On YouTube, I think they reached about almost 30,000 streams within the first 2 weeks of it being released. And then I have my second artist that released the song, J Red Navi, also known as JRN, and he just released his song Cold Hearted. And I have my other artist, G1 The Real, G-1 The Real, and he just released his song That's a Fact. The last two artists, those two are rap artists. They're both releasing singles, more to come. Myself, I'm working on a couple singles. I have 2 other artists on the label that they're working on their music right now. Alejandro Zelina, he's a ex-boxer, the Ohio lightweight champion from Ohio. So if you're from Ohio, you probably know or seen his face. He was known as Popo Zelina. He was a lightweight boxer.
Yeah, I've heard of him, yeah.
So he put up his gloves, he hung up his gloves, and now he's picked up the microphone and has dedicated his life to doing music. So he was brought to us by Jay Rednabi because they grew up together in Ohio. And my last artist on the label, his name is Mausoleum. Him and I go way back. He actually is older than me. He's like a big brother figure to me, but he's my artist because now after watching him and being inspired by his movement, what he was doing in his career, and just a lot of people around me were involved in music, and I was really inspired as a young kid. So him seeing how involved in everything that I've done, he decided to entrust his career in my hands and allow us to move forward and release music. We've done a couple singles back in Atlantic Records in New York. On my first release, when I started back in 2017 releasing albums, I have 4 albums out right now and a couple singles on the way.
So, let's talk about the music for a second here. So you said, you started releasing albums in 2017 and you got a couple singles coming.
Yeah.
So, what do you feel right now as far as this, the state of music goes? Because right now, we are no longer in an album society.
Correct.
I think people don't give a shit about albums,
No,
which is sad. But at the same time, I get it. So unless, like for me, because I fall into that same group. I don't care about an album unless it's a concept record. If it's a concept record that tells me a story from A to Z, I'm all about it. But if it's just 12 songs that you guys put together, that 3 like they did back in the 90s and even 2000s, where it's 3 singles and then 9 songs that they just kind of threw together just to make it whole album, I don't like that. How do you guys feel about it now? And if you're one of your artists says, "Hey, I'm going to put out a full album," what's your advice to them?
I mean, that's the conversation we have with them all the time. I have G1 The Real. He's one of those that wants to do a whole album or an EP and release an EP. And I'm constantly telling him nobody listens to a whole album anymore. We learned that from his first release that we distributed via DistroKid before we got our signing with Universal and SS Global with Tiffany Gaines and everybody. And we learned by the numbers of him putting out the album, only 2 songs from that entire album were the top played songs. The rest songs were like 1 or 2 plays or streams, and that was about it. So the album as a whole doesn't really do anything anymore. And just like you said, it's because people's attention span, or they just don't want to purchase. Like back in the day, I'll never forget purchasing an album and only liking 1 song. But in order to get that 1 song, I had to purchase the entire album.
Yep.
So now people having the choice of listening to selective music and choosing what songs they want to hear. Now, my opinion and my suggestion to majority of the artists on the label, depending on the style, like you said, if it's a concept album and you're going to talk from a story from the beginning of the intro and you're going to have an outro and a middle, then that makes sense. But if you're going to just go ahead and release songs as singles, then just release them as singles. And then at the end, create it as an album once it's already done its job.
Yeah, either that or, if you have 12 songs, release 4 EPs. Because even then, I mean, people can, listen to 3 songs at a time.
Exactly.
That's 15 minutes versus a whole fucking hour or an hour and a half. So yeah, I mean, I'm all about the EPs, 3 to 5 songs I'm good with, but then at the same time, we're kind of in a weird retro state for music to where now you can walk into a Walmart and buy records, actual fucking vinyls. So release a 12-inch, release a 9-inch, release a 6-inch, whatever, along with that EP, just to give something that they can physically hold. Because now nobody wants to buy a CD, but for some reason they want to buy records now. I don't know.
Record players and everything are coming back.
Bluetooth record players, right?
Yeah, who would have thought a Bluetooth record player was a thing? But, you know, that's the thing. So if you're going to release an EP, release a really cool fucking record with it. Release that 6-inch, you know. Release that 9-inch. You know, have some fun with it. And that's where I think it's going to go. I mean, obviously, you know, Spotify, Amazon Music, you know, Apple Music, all these different streaming services aren't going anywhere. And I don't think, you know, owning a CD player or, you know, having a CD, I don't even have a CD player in my car anymore. You know, I mean, so I don't think that's going to ever come back. I honestly don't. It's going to be all digital. And, you know, it's finding your niche in that, you know, in that market. You know, however you guys got to do it. But stay real to yourself and don't just do something just for the sake of doing something.
Exactly. And that's pretty much what we tell the artists, you know, have a consistency, stay focused, be motivated, and tell a story in all the songs. If you're going through something personal, put it into your song. You don't necessarily have to utilize the people's names of, you know, or things like that within the song, but you can reference him or her or them or they, you know, to reference what you're feeling amongst the situation that you're going.
That and stop caring about what everybody else thinks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That right there slows everybody down. Oh, this one's this, and this one says that, and this one does this. It doesn't matter what they think. What do you feel? Do you like your music?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what they think. They're not doing it. It's what you want, what you like, what's in your head, and you're trying to push it out to everybody else.
You know, and that applies to not only just the music business, but it applies to everything. You know, if you're an entertainer in general, don't listen to that crap. Actually use that crap as motivation. You know, every time, dude, and I get hundreds of them every week, you know, hate emails or hate comments on my, you know, my YouTube or my Instagram or my Facebook, whatever. I get hate all the time, and I love it. Yeah, it is so much fun seeing the ridiculous crap people come up with. It's like, was that supposed to be insulting? Because that's actually kind of funny.
I appreciate that. I'll use that in the next segment.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. Like last night I was doing a live stream and there was this guy that just wanted to troll the stream. It was so fucking funny. Talking about everything, you know, he could possibly, you know, say just to get a rise out of me. And he did for a second, but then I just started turning it on him and having a little bit of fun at his expense. But, you know, because like I said, I'm a comedian, so, you know, getting heckled is something that I do. You know, I love getting heckled. It's so much fun. But yeah, and you can't let that deter you. Again, if anything, like I said, use it as motivation, not to get better, but use it as motivation to, you know, for the next project. You know, like you said, I'm going to put this in my next joke. I'm going to make this, my next song, and, you know, make a joke out of it. Have some fun with them. Because, you know, the thing about it is, if people hate you, they're thinking about you.
Correct.
Yeah.
That means you're in their head. So for every hate comment that you get, that means that you're being noticed in some which way, shape, or form. So take that as a compliment.
And they're going to stream it. And they're going to stream it so they can take the time to nitpick it.
Exactly.
So it's funny that you mentioned that. So back in February, March, I made a decision to do something completely against my whole philosophy of this show, because I wanted to do something a little bit different for a change. And I got an email from this guy who is one of the proponents and a huge businessman in the flat earth community. And I decided, hey, this might be a good opportunity to have some fun at his expense and also bring over some of his followers and kind of, you know, whatever. Well, it didn't backfire. It went exactly how I wanted it to go. It, you know, it made me look like an asshole. And I had some fun at his expense, and I brought all of his followers over who just did nothing but give me hate. And I loved every second of it. However, you know, then it turned into a couple different episodes after the fact, discussing it and, having some, reviews with whatever, a couple other podcasters or whatever. And he ended up taking one of those videos where I was talking about him and putting it on his channel. And it was just the absolute most amount of hate. However, where he messed up was he didn't link the original content, which, whatever. But I ended up, linking it for them. And then I ended up getting a bunch of people coming back over to me, commenting how stupid that guy was. And it was just a back and forth, battle. At first, I was pissed off that this motherfucker, took my shit, and didn't even, credit me at all. But then, after some back and forth, we eventually got it figured out. But, it's stuff like that you never know what's going to happen with it. It's a lot of fun. Take risks. Take that stuff with a grain of salt. Because, again, that's one person.
Yeah, man. That's pretty much what we do. We look at everything that we deal with and go through, and we try to just be like, all right, what's next? Because your problems are never going to go away. Every single day you're going to encounter a new problem once you overcome the last one. So it's like, all right, what's next?
Yep. You're not wrong. So you are nominated for the Binge TV Award Podcast of the Year.
Yes.
So talk about what you do on that side.
So Live at 8 with Kren, which is now converting to Live with Kren, because very soon we're going to be going FM out here in Tampa. We have some paperwork we're dealing with what is that, Bills Media and Cox Media Group. So we're trying to, evolve the show and the station in general as a whole. My station has 4 shows on it. It started originally with Live at 8 with Kren, which was mainly for the independent artists, to give them their spotlight, to give them their time of day, to let them actually be the artist that they want to be instead of dealing with all the commentary, because I would be the person to turn off the comments if they were on the live. I'd be the person to let, the hearts show whether the person liked the song or not. Then within the middle of the interview, then I'd open up the comments and let people start commenting. So like that, they can see that I'm monitoring what's being said to the people, so like that. I know how it is to be an artist. And then if it's your first live or interview or something, you're already nerve-wracked. By the time you start reading those comments coming through, if you feel down about yourself, you're going to feel even worse at that point, because some of the artists don't have that mental mind state to know that it's just a comment, it's just an opinion, it's just what someone else was feeling. It's what you feel and how you think about yourself and your music that really matters. So that's what we try to do with the show. We also bring in artists from around the states or from around the countries, depending where they're from, if they contact us via Instagram, Facebook, or through our website. At the same time, with the radio station, we try to do some live, so we incorporate the TSCGP Live, which is the broadcasting like what we're doing right now, where we take a Zoom, we record it, or do it live at that moment while it's recording at the same time on the radio, so it's all cohesive at the same time in unison, instead of airing the live show and then airing the radio show at separate times. I wanted to try to incorporate everything at once. And finally, it took a little while. Eclipse knows that it took some time for me to get all the equipment and understand, the rewiring of the audio to make sure that everything is properly set up so there's no lag or no delay within the transmission from the recording of the live to the radio, from the signal from here, from the base to the internet station itself. That little 3-minute delay when you go live, there's like a little lag window. So, try learning all that, understanding that, we try to incorporate what's happening in the now. So like you said, what we said before, mental health, positive vibes, giving people advice based on testimonies and things that we've lived through. We'll get contacts from, artists, doctors, authors, book writers, different people that want to voice their opinion or speak about, positive things or something new that they're working on. It's just a spotlight show. So Live at 8 with Kren was more of a outreach, mental health, and independent artist awareness. Like, hey guys, there's independent artists out here that are busting their ass every single day to get in your face, to get in front of you on your phone, that probably are to a nickel and dime to their pocket living just to try to get that one song into your phone. Please take the time out of your day to actually listen to their song, because even though it takes you 2 seconds to click play, it took them probably a week to 2 months or even longer to get that song recorded.
Yep.
So, try to show the love and spread positivity and give the artists their time of day. And if their songs were actually registered via BMI, Sound Exchange, whatever, their songs do get credited for the spins that play.
That's awesome. I do that's exactly the same thing that I do. I mean, 100% to a T. Thank you very much for stealing my shit. But I focus mainly on the rock side, the indie rock, indie metal, indie punk, all that stuff. I focus primarily on metal and rock and punk and stuff like that on the indie side. That's just who I am. The only rap artist that I really ever deal with, is coming from Hood and from Ditch and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Just because I have a good relationship with him, and he's also hooked me up with a couple good rock bands too. So it's like, okay, cool, we have a mutual understanding. So, but at the same time, when I talk to bands from rock, rap artists and stuff like that, I get a different perspective of the music business, because again, I might like your song, and I might spin it a couple times in my car, listen to Spotify or Amazon Music, whatever I decide to listen to that day. But that's usually where it stops for me, and it's nothing against them. That's just not my style of music. It's not who I am. I don't particularly enjoy rap that much. I have my few artists that I enjoy, and I will, if I like your song, I'm gonna tell you straight up, I like your song. And that's who I am. So, but I'm glad that you have that same type of philosophy. Spotlighting those, indie artists. But what I also enjoy too is like those bands that were really huge at one point in time on a major label that have now gone indie, and some people have forgotten about. So I've talked to a bunch of those types of bands too, and I really enjoy that. Especially talking to them about, their heyday back in the early 2000s and, all the different stuff that, they got to experience as a major label artist, and then now what they're experiencing now as a indie artist and what the differences are and stuff like that. And for everyone that's out there wondering, people are enjoying more being an indie artist these days.
Yeah.
Because they have more control.
Yeah. They get to voice their opinion better. It's like, they get, if they don't want to release it, they don't release it. All right, not a problem. What's the next song you want to work on? Let's go on to the next one.
Exactly. So, like I said, I can condone, condone. That's not the word I was looking for. I really, really appreciate what you guys you do as far as, what you do for the artists, as far as you do for the fans and, everything else like that, because that's what I really, really enjoy. Again, there's thousands of podcasts and radio shows that just focus on the music.
Correct.
If you want to go find that, go find it. I implore you to find it. But if you want to find out who the real artist is and find out, indie stuff and find everything else like that, seek out podcasts like mine, like yours, or radio shows like yours, or whatever the case might be. There's ones out there like mine too. As much as I joke around about you stealing my stuff, it's not a new concept. I mean, I didn't come up with it. I just made it my own. And same thing with you, make it your own, do what you do best, find a niche and stick with it. Even though I don't like that word niche, I don't like it.
That's never stuck with me when I was growing up.
Yeah, because again, I don't just do music. I do actors, I do comedians, I do authors. Hell, I've even done a few doctors, like you said.
Yeah.
I've done that too. It's because it really doesn't have a niche. I mean, I guess mental health is my niche overall, but it's more than that, just that. And but you've got to find what you do and what you do best, regardless of whether or not you're a comedian, a radio entertainer, actor, a performer, whatever. Find what you're good at and pursue it, and don't let people stand in your way. Overall, bottom line.
That is a fact. It's true.
Well, regardless of the fact that, not only now that I've realized that we're competition in the, on the Binge TV Awards, we're also competition in the airwaves as well. I still, commend you for everything that you guys do. And, regardless of, all of that, good luck to you guys. And I really, really appreciate what you guys are doing. Even though, again, you guys are doing the same thing I do, it's the more people that do this, the better off this country and this, world will be. Because, not everyone can find me, not everyone can find you, not everyone can find Bob down the street.
Right.
The more Bobs down the street that we have doing what we do, mental health through music and other things, the better off this world will be. So thank you guys.
All right,
Thank you.
And thank you for doing what you do. And like you said, I don't look at it as competition. I look at us as more as we're all business partners on the same wavelength, trying to get to the same end goal. So, I appreciate you and commend you on everything that you're doing. We touch different genres, so it's always good to see the different aspects and the different, dialogues that we can get when we speak with one another and how we can network with one another. So thank you for having us today.
Not a problem. I appreciate it. Again, yeah, we are all business partners in this because it's one world, man. That's all it is. It's not about competition, especially in this space. It's about helping as many people as we can. So good, great job to you guys.
Thank you. Same to you, brother.
So July 29th, Binge TV Awards. Live on Binge TV. Check it out. If you don't subscribe. It's a great fucking streaming service. Check it out. Binge TV Awards. 2 podcasts right here up for podcast of the year. So pick your favorite and root for him. If you don't like me, whatever, I don't care. But if you like him, more power to you. But either way, guys, thank you so much for coming on. I really do appreciate y'all.
I appreciate you. And if you guys want to look us up, you can find us on Google. Just type in TSEGP Music, or you can visit us at www.tsegpmusic.com. And there are all of the links attached to everybody. So feel free to hit us up and let us know if there's anything that we can collaborate or if we can help you guys with anything.
And all of those links that he just mentioned are down below. So please, take a click. Don't worry about Googling it. I got it for you. So we're good there.
Appreciate that.
But again, thank you guys so much for joining us on this Wednesday, 6/9. Enjoy it.
That's right. It's hump day.
It's hump day. It's double hump day. It's like reverse and then do
not the 6ix9ine the rapper, 6ix9ine the dig.
Yeah, we don't want to be 6ix9ine the rapper. That's just bad. We wouldn't even get into that one. But anyway,
That's another show.
It's a whole other show. But again, come back tomorrow for another episode of Suck It Podcast. I appreciate you guys. Stay happy, stay healthy, and as always, stay fucking heavy. We'll see you guys later. Peace.
Peace, brother. Thank you.